these are my thoughts with regards to the upcoming fight between Paul Smith and Andre Ward. Well, a lot of people are glad to see that Andre Ward is back. And I'm, for one, glad to see Andre Ward is back. Andre Ward, considered probably pound for pound the second best fighter in the world back in the day when he was fighting in the Super 6 tournament. And now, he's coming back now closer to the light heavyweight limit more than the super middleweight division, which is good because that gives us an indication that maybe Ward is considering coming back at light heavyweight, but then who knows? What is there left for him at the super middleweight division? Well, there's a fight with James DeGale. There's a fight with George Groves. So there's two super middleweight fights there ready to look at. But let's not talk about it. Let's talk about this fight with Paul Smith. Paul Smith's got a lot of grief for taking the fight against Andre Ward. Well, you know what? In this trade, there are some fighters who want to test themselves against the very best. And I think it's a good fight for Paul Smith in terms of wanting to test himself against the very best. Unfortunately for Paul Smith in this fight, there are a few things that go against him. And these are the factors. First of all, Paul Smith will think, well, maybe I could catch Andre Ward, on his comeback. I could probably catch him and maybe he'll be a bit off. Well, the thing with that is that, yes, I admit that I would say that, well, Ward's been out of the ring for a while. But I think, seeing the way Andre Ward conducts himself, I wouldn't be surprised if Ward was in the gym ticking over, waiting to come back and fight. I can't imagine Andre Ward, us being a slouch and drinking loads of beers and getting a gut like Ricky Hatton. I can't really imagine that or envision that for Ward. If anything, I think Ward being out of the ring, and you may have a few more tricks to his game. I expect to see. You see, the thing with Paul Smith is this: his fights against Abraham. The first fight he had a great chance of beating Abraham, and Abraham's a very limited fighter. If you look at the fights Paul Smith had against guys who were physically bigger than him, in terms of DeGale and against George Groves, firepower, when he was matched against guys who had much bigger or much physically bigger than him, Smith, who I found was overpowered. You look at the way he was KO'd by George Groves. You even look at the way that DeGale just took him apart. And the way DeGale took Smith apart, if you think about that then, and you think about Andre Ward, and and Smith is not a big super middleweight, let's remember. And you're looking at Andre Ward, who started his career as a light heavy, coming down to super middle. I suspect on the night Andre Ward's going to be weighing more like a cruiserweight rather than a light heavyweight against a guy at the super middleweight division in Smith, who I've never believed is really a super middleweight, and is a small super middleweight. So on the night, you're going to have a small super middleweight against a cruiserweight on the night, and a cruiserweight who's heavily talented and got great boxing skill and a great boxing brain. You look at Andre Ward, he can box on the inside, he can box on the outside. This is a guy that who was able to understand that Froch wasn't the greatest inside fighter, sat on his chest for 12 rounds and bullied Carl Froch. And you've got to think to yourself, in what fight does Paul Smith bring that you could say, yeah, give Smithy a chance here? What, are you saying that Smith is going to knock Andre Ward out? Where has he displayed the punching power as a super middleweight to do that? Smith's best punch, you would say, is his left hook to the body or to the head. If there were any weight draining problems with Andre Ward, it's not going to be in this fight, that's for sure. So going to the body is not going to be a problem. I expect, actually, Andre Ward to take his time and then just explode and stop Smith inside round 6 or 7. Similar fashion to DeGale, the way DeGale stopped him. I can't see DeGale. I can't see a Smith. I can see Smith putting up a valiant effort, but I can't see him winning against Andre Ward. You've got to give him all the credit well for taking the fight, and definitely will raise his profile. And it's about time Smith was fighting outside of the British title arena. Would like to have seen Smith go down the European title route rather than fight Andre Ward, but it's money and it's a high profile fight for him. Depending on how good Smith looks in this fight, in defeat, I think it gives Smith opportunities in the future. So these are my thoughts. I think Andre Ward is going to be very powerful, very strong. How fast he'll be will be interesting, but I think it'll be a technical, punch, precise performance against Paul Smith. Those are my thoughts. Love to know what you think. I'm out.